जय राधा माधवा कुंज विहारी जय गोपी जन जय गोपी जन अष्टोक्षर शत श्री श्रीमद भाई चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड की गोवर्धन की श्री वृंद देवी गंगा देवी जमुना देवी भक्ति देवी की श्री वृंदावन धाम की मथुरा धाम की मायापुर नवदीप धाम की श्री जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की श्री द्वारकापुरी धाम की श्री अयोध्यापुरी धाम की श्री श्री राधा राधा कांत मंदिर की श्री श्री राधा कांत की श्री श्री गौर निताय की हरिनाम संकीर्तन की गौर प्रेमानंदे समावेत भक्तवृंद की समावेत भक्तवृंद की समावेत भक्तवृंद की श्रील प्रभुपाद की हरे कृष्ण। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी नामने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Tyuttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Srimad Bhagavatam. Before I begin, can I make an announcement? Our god sister Parvati Devi Dasi left her body last night in Vrindavan Dham. So I am sure she went back home, back to Godhead, because anyone who disappears in Vrindavan, Prabhupada had that opinion. Plus she lived in Vrindavan for decades. She was managing the Samadhi, Prabhupada's Samadhi. She will be missed.
Our daughter lives in New Orleans.
Yeah.
We should call her.
Well, she probably knows, but...
No, I know she knows, but just to convey...
Yeah, to convey your condolences and... Sadgatir Bhavatu, may she obtain the highest destination. We had regular email correspondence. She used to write to me. Now and then. Not, every week, but once in a while. I used to help her publicize Samadhi. She sent out newsletters about the Samadhi, so I used to help her get them to different conferences on the internet and on the pamho.net system. Hare Krishna. I thought I should mention that.
Thank you. Jai Vaishnavi.
Yeah, I knew her for many years. Achha, so it's second canto, Skanda 2, Adhyaya chapter 1, and Shloka, what's on the board there? 34. Achha, okay, 34 doesn't have a purport. And 35 doesn't have a purport. 36 has a purport. What to do?
We chant that one's on the board, then you just...
There two are on the board, I think. I'm not sure, I think two. Just one? Okay. Isa Ishasya Keshan Viduram Bhuvahan Vasustu Sandhyam Kuruvarya Bhumnaha. Avyaktamahur Hridayam Manascha. Sachandrama Sarva Vikara Koshaha. Ishasya Keshan Viduram Bhuvahan. Vasustu Sandhyam Kuruvarya Bhumnaha. Avyaktamahur Hridayam Manascha. Sachandrama Sarva Vikara Koshaha. Hare Krishna.
Ishasya Keshan Viduram Bhuvahan.
Ishasya Keshan Viduram Bhuvahan.
Vasastu Sanyam Kuruvarya Bhumnaha.
Vasastu Sanyam Kuruvarya Bhumnaha.
Avyaktamahur Hridayam Manascha.
Avyaktamahur Hridayam Manascha.
Sachandrama Sarva Vikara Koshaha.
Sachandrama Sarva Vikara Koshaha.
Ishasya Keshan Viduram Bhuvahan.
Ishasya Keshan Viduram Bhuvahan.
Vashastu Sanjam Kuru Varya Bhumna.
Vasastu Sandhyam Kuruvarya Bhumna.
Avyaktam Ahoridayam Manascha.
Avyaktam Ahoridayam Manascha.
Sanchandrama Sarvavikara Ghoshah.
Sachandrama Sarvavikara Ghoshah. Anyone else? Ishasya Kesham Viduram Bhuvan. Vasastu Sangham Kuruvarya Bhumna. Avyaktamahur Hridayam Manascha. Sachandrama Sarvavikara Ghoshah.
Ishasya Kesham Viduram Bhuvan.
Ishasya Kesham Viduram Bhuvan.
Vasastu Sandhyam Kuruvarya Bhumna.
Vasastu Sandhyam Kuruvarya Bhumna.
Avyaktamahur Hridayam Manascha.
Avyaktamahur Hridayam Manascha.
Sachandrama Sarvavikara Ghoshah.
Sachandrama Sarvavikara Ghoshah.
Ishasya Kesham Viduram Bhuvan.
Ishasya Kesham Viduram Bhuvan.
Vasastu Sandhyam Kuruvarya Bhumna.
Vasastu Sandhyam Kuruvarya Bhumna.
Avyaktam Ahur Hridayam Manascha.
Avyaktam Ahur Hridayam Manascha.
Sachandrama Sarvavikara Ghoshah.
Sachandrama Sarvavikara Ghoshah.
Ishasya Kesham Viduram Bhuvan.
Ishasya Kesham Viduram Bhuvan.
Vasastu Sandhyam Kuruvarya Bhumna.
Vasastu Sandhyam Kuruvarya Bhumna.
Avyaktamahur Hridayam Manascha.
Avyaktamahur Hridayam Manascha.
Sachandrama Sarvavikara Ghoshah.
Sachandrama Sarvavikara Ghoshah. Finished? Padapataha. Pada is word, pataha reading.
Okay.
Padapataha, reading the words.
Okay.
Ishasya,
Ishasya
of the Supreme Controller.
of the Supreme Controller.
Kesham,
Kesham,
hairs on the head.
hairs on the head.
Viduhu,
Viduhu,
you may know it from me.
you may know it from me.
Ambuvahan,
Ambuvan,
the clouds which carry water.
the clouds which carry water.
Vasahatu,
Vasatu,
the dress.
the dress.
Sandhyam,
Sandhyam,
termination of day and night.
termination of day and night.
Kuruvarya, the
Kuruvaya,
best of the Kurus.
O best of the Kurus.
Bhumnaha,
Bhumnaha,
of the Almighty.
of the Almighty.
Avyaktam,
Avyaktam,
the prime cause of material creation.
the prime cause of material creation.
Ahuhu,
Ahu,
it is said.
it is said.
Hridayam,
Hridayam,
intelligence.
intelligence.
Manaha,
Manaha,
manahacha,
Manahacha,
and the mind.
and the mind.
Saha,
Saha,
he,
he,
Chandramaha,
Chandramaha,
the moon,
the moon,
Sarva Vikara Koshaha,
Sarvavihara Vushaha,
the reservoir of all changes.
the reservoir of all changes.
Translation by Srila Prabhupada.
Jai Srila Prabhupada.
O best among the Kurus, the clouds which carry water are the hairs on his head. The termination of days or nights are his dress, and the supreme cause of material creation is his intelligence. His mind is the moon, the reservoir of all changes. So I'll read the next two on my own, right?
Okay.
Do you want to read the patapat, the word for word?
No,
Okay.
I don't know.
No, whatever you decide. Vijnana Shaktim Mahimanananti Sarvatmano Nantakaram Giritram Ashvashvatar Yushta Gaja Nakhani Sarve Mriga Pashavash Shroni Deshe. Translation: the principle of matter, Mahatattva, is the consciousness of the omnipresent Lord, as asserted by the experts, and Rudradeva is his ego. The horse, mule, camel, and elephant are his nails, and wild animals and all quadrupeds are situated in the belt zone of the Lord. 36 has a translation and purport. Vayamsi tad vyakaranam vichitram manur manisha manujo nivasaha gandharva vidyadhara charanapsaras swarasmritir asurani kaviryaha. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Varieties of birds are indications of his his masterful artistic sense. Manu, the father of mankind, is the emblem of his standard intelligence, and humanity is his residence. The celestial species of human beings, like the Gandharvas, Vidyadharas, Charanas, and angels, all represent his musical rhythm. And the demoniac soldiers are representations of his wonderful prowess. Purport: the aesthetic sense of the Lord is manifested in the artistic, colorful creation of varieties of birds like peacock, parrot, and cuckoo. The celestial species of human beings like the Gandharvas and Vidyadharas can sing wonderfully and can entice even the minds of the heavenly demigods. Their musical rhythm represents the musical sense of the Lord. How then can he be impersonal? His musical taste, artistic sense, and standard intelligence, which is never fallible, are different signs of his supreme personality. The Manu Samhita is the standard law book for humanity, and every human being is advised to follow this great book of social knowledge. Human society is the residential quarters for the Lord. This means that the human being is meant for God realization and association with God. This life is a chance for the conditioned soul to regain his eternal God consciousness and thus fulfill the mission of life. Maharaj Prahalad is the right type of representative of the Lord in the family of Asuras. None of the living beings is away from the Lord's gigantic body. Each and every one has a particular duty in relation to the supreme body. Disruption in the matter of discharging the specific duty assigned to each and every living being is the cause of disharmony between one living being and another. But when the relation is re-established in relation with the Supreme Lord, there is a complete unity between all living beings, even up to the limit of the wild animals and human society. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu displayed this living unity in the jungle of Madhya Pradesh, where even the tigers, elephants, and many other ferocious animals perfectly cooperated in glorifying the Supreme Lord. That is the way to peace and amity all over the world. Hare Krishna. No doubt everyone wants peace. No doubt. And yet without strength there cannot be peace. Without military power. Therefore, Lord Krishna himself divided human society into 4 orders. Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas and Shudras. The head, the arms, the stomach and the legs. So the arms are the protector of human society. The Kshatriyas. So when Prabhupada writes that there should be peace and amity all over the world, this does not exclude the power of the Kshatriyas. Because without their power, there are asuras, those who are misbehaved in society, those who have no principles, who are atheistic. That's described in Bhagavad Gita. I can open it up, unfortunately.
Chapter 7?
I didn't memorize it. Pardon?
Chapter 7?
No, at the end when they describe the asuras.
Oh, 16.
Demonic.
I guess it's divine and demoniac nature, 16. So the beginning of that, I know this verse and I didn't remember it, but now looking I remember. Pravrittim cha nivrittim cha na jana vidurasuraha na saucham na pichacharo na satyam teshu vidyate. So the translation of that is those who are demoniac do not know what is to be done and what is not to be done. Neither cleanliness nor proper behavior nor truth is found in them. And in the purport of this verse, 16:7, Prabhupada talks also about Manu Samhita, which he talked about in today's purport, the law book for humanity. So when Prabhupada says it's the law book for humanity, we should take that, I think, very seriously. There are opponents of these laws, those who are against the laws of Manu. In India there is a political party, and the leader of that, well, of course the communists are against any laws of God. But specifically the laws of Manu, there's another political party in India which had tasted some success 15 years ago, but the last 10 years they have no political power. But they specifically deride the Manu Samhita, which is also known as Manusmriti. And they use the word Manuvadi, like Mayavadi, right? Or Satyavadi. Have you heard the word Satyavadi?
I know somebody with that name.
Really? Satya means truth. Satyavadi is a person. Vada is a... No.
They speak.
Yeah, actually, Vada comes from Vadanam, the mouth of the speech. But it means a particular principle, argument, a particular argument. So we are Achintya Beda Bedvadis. Achintya Beda Bedvad. There is Vishishta Dvaita Vad, the qualified monism of Ramanujacharya. Advaita Vad, the monism of Adi Shankaracharya. Dvaita Vad, the dual philosophy of Madhva Acharya. So Vada means a proposition, an ideology. So those who say that the Manu Samhita is the law book for humanity may be called Manuvadis. They propound that Manu's laws should be followed in human society. Well, one of those persons, deity or statue, is right here. We have two purports, 2:136 and Bhagavad Gita 16:7, which say the same thing. And that is that Manu Samhita is the law book for humanity. Prabhupada did not translate that, but it is available. There are English translations. And there are, I think, 10 or 11 chapters in the Manu Samhita, the Manu Smriti, and deals with human society, what is proper behavior and what is not. So therefore this verse in Gita, pravrittim cha nivrittim cha jana navidurasuraha. Jana means to know. Pravrittim, what to do, and nivrittim, what not to do. Actually, vritti is an activity. Pra and na, engaged, pravrit in Hindi. These words are common. Pravritti, I have a certain occupation. Nivritti means renunciation, giving up all occupations. So here, you see these words take slightly different meanings according to the context. Pravrittim cha, nivrittim cha. What to do and what not to do. Now, nivritti is used in two different senses. Vritti, nivritti, no occupation. It also means ignorance of what your occupation should be. What are the occupations? According to Lord Krishna, there are 4 occupations for men, and for women there is different occupation. So they're called dharma. Dharma means duty, or dharma is in English duty. It's also religious principles. And from time immemorial, this system of varnashram dharma, varnas, which translated roughly are castes, but we say social orders. Caste has a negative connotation because of the British rule of India. The British wanted to, we're talking about British who don't exist anymore, but at the time of British rule of India, which ended 70 years ago, 1947, what is it, 72 now, coming on to 72 years. And they were dominating the political landscape of India. They didn't actually rule every inch of the country. They had kings who were proxies. Means the kings were already there, but they paid tributes, financial taxes, in order to, avoid fighting with the British. And there were plenty of places where the British came militarily and took over. So this period lasted for 200 years. So the British who were ruling at that time were not appreciative of the Vedic culture, Sanatana Dharma, which we have adopted, which Prabhupada was teaching. So they made a lot of negative propaganda that the caste system is horrible and in so many ways. But Prabhupada, now I'm not going to pull out the exact quote, but it's there, where he says there's a caste system. And Varna means social order. So that meant a community that had a particular occupation. And it's generally the principle that the son takes after the father. That's a general principle in human society. And part of the social order of human society is the ashramas, brahmachari, grihastha, vanaprastha and sannyas. But in Kali Yuga mostly we see grihastha. For women there is only grihastha. For men, brahmachari means to study Vedas in the childhood. Vedas and Vedic literature. Vedas and Vedangas. There are 6 limbs of the Vedas. You know that? Who knows that? 6 limbs of the Vedas. No hands are coming up.
Is this the same as the 4 you talked about?
No. 6 limbs. There are 4 Vedas, which is mentioned in the first canto of the Bhagavatam. Veda Vyas divided one Veda into 4 and gave them to different disciples to protect them, to propagate them. And the tradition, it's called Shruti, that which is heard, oral tradition. And the Vedas and the limbs of the Vedas were preserved. No, the Vedas and the limbs of the Vedas were preserved by the tradition, parampara. Parampara means tradition, or in English, the word parampara is translated as tradition, of hearing and memorizing the Vedas and the limbs of the Vedas. So these limbs of the Vedas are as follows. The Shadangas, 6 limbs of the Vedas. Jyotisham, astronomy, not astrology, I'm sorry, it's astronomy. The auspicious position of the planets, the constellations, Jayanti. You know this, Jayanti? You've heard of Jayanti? You're supposed to have heard this? Because Jayanti is a constellation only visible on the day of Krishna's birth, Krishna Janmashtami. There's a constellation called Jayanti. So the birthday of Krishna is called Krishna Jayanti. But what happened, because Krishna Jayanti is so popular, the word has now become common usage in India for anybody's birthday. Actually, it means only Lord Krishna's appearance in this world, Jayanti. But they say Gandhi Jayanti, or, etc., etc. But it actually is only for Krishna Janmashtami. So Jyotisham is one of the 6 limbs of the Vedas, astronomy. What is the constellations, the stars, and their auspicious, what is it? When they come together?
Constellations.
Confluence? Right. Pardon?
Constellation.
Yeah, when the constellations, which is a group of stars, Rohini Nakshatras, they're called the Nakshatras. You've heard of the Nakshatras, the constellations. So when they're positioned in the sky in a certain place, it's considered auspicious. When they're absent, there's a whole science. It's a whole book. Jyotisham. The science of astronomy. Then there's Chandra Shastras. Chandra Shastra. Prosody. A certain chandas are found in the Vedas, prose. There's analysis of, like, the Gayatri Chanda, Gayatri Mantra is called the Gayatri Chanda. And there are many chandas. Kalpa Sutras, that is a manual of rituals, how to perform Vedic sacrifices. Then there's the Nirukta, Nigantu, Vedic etymology. Vyakaranam, grammar. Shiksha, phonetics. So these are the 6. Jyotisham, Chanda, Kalpa, Nirukta, Vyakaranam, and Shiksha. These are the Vedangas, the 6 limbs of the Vedas. So Brahmanas were supposed to, Brahmanas, Kshatriyas and Vaishyas, all 3 communities. It says that in the Bhagavatam, Stri Shudra Dvijabandhu Nam Traina Shruti Gochara. They're women, Stri, Shudra, the labor class, and Dvijabandhu, those who are born in higher class families but are unfit to study the Vedas. Stri Shudra Dvijabandhu Nam Traina Shruti Gochara. Shruti means the Vedas. They are not supposed to study the Vedas. Therefore, I can't remember the rest of that verse, but it's Mahabharata, Bharata Akyanam. Therefore, Vyasadeva compiled the Mahabharata for women, Shudras, and the Dvijabandhus. Excuse me.
You need water, there's water there.
Yeah, I know. I try and avoid it. It's a little throat irritation. I'll get over it. So these 3 classes, Brahmanas, Kshatriyas and Vaishyas, were supposed to study Vedas and Vedangas in the childhood. And the laws of Manu, this is how I'm tying it all in, were meant to guide the human society in proper behavior. So, pravrittim cha nivrittim cha janana vidurasura. Those who don't know proper behavior are called asuras. And those who study the Vedas, and after the Vedic study, they would study, they're called the Dharma Shastras. Manu is one of the Dharma Shastras, Manu Samhita. There are 80 Dharma Shastras. Law books. So this was the business of the intellectuals. Maybe I should have a little. Tried to avoid it, but it got severe. So, even in modern society, the lawyers who deal with law are intellectuals. They're considered intellectuals and they become political leaders. But the Vedic system was that Brahmanas, Kshatriyas and Vaishyas were trained in Vedic literature in the childhood, and that's Brahmachari Ashram. That is the tradition. It's still extant in India. It has not completely vanished. It's still going on. There are mostly Brahmin families. The sons go and study Vedas and Vedangas and Dharma Shastras and Darshana Shastras. Darshana Shastras are the philosophies. So we are following one of those 6 philosophies, Vedanta. And in the Vedanta there's 2 interpretations. There's Vaishnava interpretation and there's Mayavadi, Adi Shankaracharya. And there are different Vaishnavas, and we follow Govinda Bhashya, commentary on Vedanta Sutra by Baladev, which is one of the more recent commentaries. It's 250 years old. But there were earlier commentaries. Ramanujacharya was the first Vaishnava commentary. But what is the Vedanta Sutras that they're commenting on? The Vedanta Sutras are condensed into sutra form. Sutra means a short statement. By Vyas, what is the end of knowledge? Summarizing the Upanishads. The Upanishads, there's 108. So they're summarized in the Vedanta Sutra. So Vedanta Sutra stresses Brahma Jigyasa, right? Now, therefore, Atato Brahma Jigyasa, that's the first sutra. So inquiry into the absolute truth. So inquiry into the absolute truth is a vast science. It's not so simple. It requires a lot of study. And Bhagavat is called the natural commentary on these Vedanta Sutras by our acharyas. We have the commentary of Baladev, but our acharyas said the Bhagavat, Srimad Bhagavat Mahapurana, one of the 18 Mahapuranas, what are they? Well, there's Dharma Shastras, Darshana Shastras, and there's Itihasas and Puranas, histories. So Bhagavatam comes in that category, the category of history. But in that historical description of various kings, there are different characteristics of a Purana. There's 5 and 10. Lakshanas. Lakshana means characteristic. Pancha Lakshana is Vangsha Vamshanu Charita. So the description of the lineage of kings and the stories of kings. And you find that in the Bhagavatam. The Pandavas were kings, for example. Prithu Maharaj was a king. Dhruva Maharaj, he was a king. And his activities as a king are described in the Bhagavatam. Prahlad Maharaj, he also became a king. We remember him as a child, as a devotee of Vishnu, and his being saved by Lord Nrsimha, which is coming up day after tomorrow, the appearance of Nrsimha. But he was a king. And his son was a demon. And the son of his son was also a great devotee, Bali Maharaj. He was also a king. So the description of kings, their lifetime, some very short, some King Ambarish was a king, Ambarish. So there are different descriptions in the Bhagavad of these kings. So it fits the characteristics of a Purana. And right now I'm forgetting the other characteristics. I think Sarga Visarga, that means the creation of the material world, the destruction of the material world, the lineage of kings, the stories of these kings. There's one more in the 5, and then there are 10. 5 and 10 characteristics of a Purana. It's a research question for me at the moment because I didn't memorize. All the characteristics.
That was described by Bhaktivinoda Thakur in one of his books, wasn't it?
Quite possibly. I mean, many scholars, he's being a great scholar, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he must have mentioned. But I don't remember where, offhand. I'd have to look it up. But it's in the Puranas itself, I think. There's verses in certain Puranas that describe the characteristics of the Puranas. So, I spoke about the laws, not going in deep about what the laws themselves say, but just that Prabhupada was of the opinion, as are all of our Purva Acharyas, our previous Acharyas, that Manu is the law book for humanity. So society should not be anarchy. Anarchy means no rule of law. And when there's no rule of law, those who are demoniac, those who have no principles, they dominate. They dominate society. At the present moment, this is a demoniac society where cow slaughter goes on unrestrictedly. Actually, there were only cow sacrifices, but not in Kali Yuga. But there was no regular, in Vedic culture, the cows are seen as a mother, and they're not to be killed for food. Prabhupada commented, if you want to eat the meat of the cow, let the cow die naturally, and then you can eat the meat. Now that is still in the mode of ignorance, tamogun, it's tamasic. But it's allowed. It's ahimsa purvakam, non-violent. The violence towards the cow is condemnable, it's abominable, but it's seen as a commodity. It's seen as a business. It's glorified in the media. It's glorified in stories about the people who run these businesses, where the business is non-vegetarian food. All animal slaughter is condemned in the Bhagavatam, right? What's that famous verse in the 10th canto? Forgetting it right now. Vina Pashugnat. I remember that much. It's in the 4th chapter of the 10th canto. Nobody remembers. Ghosh, how is it? Ka uttama shloka gunanuvadat bina pashugnat. I'm not remembering the whole verse at the moment. But only those who kill animals cannot glorify the Lord. Basically, that's what it says. So animal killing is sinful. It's in the mode of ignorance. Demons indulge in killing animals. There are many hunters, right, in this country. There are many hunters. Vedic culture condemns hunting animals. Kings were allowed, but ordinary people, they didn't. Brahmanas and Vaishyas never indulged in killing or eating animals. Shudras, Prabhupada wrote, because they're lower, they have to eat animals. So he said, let them eat the unimportant animals like goats, chickens, pigs, and like that. Not the cow. The cow should not be killed and eaten. But if there's no control, if there's no Manusmriti, the law book of humanity, if it's not being followed, then these things will happen. And that's what's happening. We're living in a society, even in India, although the present, now this government, we don't know, there's an election right now. We don't know if they'll come back, but because they had power in what you call the federal government there in India, it's called the central government. Just a play on words, but it means the same thing. And the state governments that are under the rule of the Hindu party, they had banned cow slaughter. And they've set up, what's it called? Institutions that are semi-government for protection of the cow. And they disperse money to protect cows. So they understood the Vedic concept. And the demoniac countries, they are not following the Vedic concept. So they're demons. We ran out of time. It's 8:30. I want to follow the rules.
Maybe ask some questions and answers. I mean, they could be as late as 9. They just told me between 8:30 and 9.
Right. Well, I thought I should follow the discipline. And there's more that we could speak about today's verse. This is not the whole and soul of today's verse. It's part of what today's verse. Question. So, Yogi Prabhu I saw first. Then, I'm forgetting your name, Prabhu.
Krishna Shraya, I think.
Krishna Shraya Prabhu, and then Mataji. 1, 2, 3. Yeah.
I was wondering, in terms of practical practical implementing of law books. Even Modi can't implement the laws in the Manu Samhita.
Right.
Muslim governments can implement their laws within countries that they completely control with their population. But as soon as it's even talked about in Western world, it's like a heresy to government that you even bring it up to implement it. So, same with Manu Samhita. I mean, some of the laws, even Lord Chaitanya didn't implement. Otherwise, the Brahmanas who saw Malechas and Yavanas, ostracized people who were sprinkled water on the head or forced to eat meat, were told to drink hot ghee, from the Manu Samhita, and Lord Chaitanya gave a whole different take on the matter, for this particular day and age. So, I mean, certainly, Srila Prabhupada said those things, but he said other things also about how things could be practically implemented, or even how much it could be implemented, the type of world we're dealing with. So what do you think about that?
I'm not sure if it says that you have to drink hot ghee to become purified. I'm not sure of that. I think that...
Well, for one who commits adultery, they're supposed to walk into the sun, and there's some other... Yeah, there are different punishments. We'd have to... See, generally we're talking, no doubt, very specific. To talk specifically, we have to examine the Manu Smriti itself, the Manu Samhita. And we're not in a position to do that right now. We have to have the book in hand and we have to go over it. Really, it's more of a research and what do you call it? We need more time and we need the materials in hand. No doubt what you say, the traditional laws that were followed in religious societies are not popular now in modern society. And according to the Indian Constitution, you see, the Constitution was made by men. And the Manu Samhita, well, you can say Manu, the word Manu, man comes from Manu. He was the Prajapati. He created humankind many, many years ago. And there's not one Manu, because in the day of Brahma there are many pralayas, period of destruction and then a recreation of human society. And Manu is the original person. And he set down these laws. But generally, Prabhupada has said in several places, it's the law book for humanity. So how can we compromise on that? So then we have to get into a specific discussion. I think we need more time than we have right now. And we have to actually have the book, read the Sanskrit, and then there are extremist interpretations, even in Vedic culture. Like Vedas itself doesn't talk about outcasts. In the Vedas, there's only Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra. There is no fifth class. But it came into being in India. Those who didn't follow Vedic culture were looked on as fifth class. So how do you rationalize that when it's not in Vedas itself or it's not in Manu? But there were punishments. If someone did not follow, he was driven out into the forest. So that didn't become one of the castes or one of the social orders. They were outside the social order. But later on, they made a whole community of people who were considered outside the social order. That's not a part of Vedic vision. So, we have to try and understand if it's our Guru and our Guru Parampara
is teaching that Manu is the law book for humanity. So we have to understand, first of all, we have to study it. And then we have to see what's, doable and what's not doable. Some things Prabhupada did comment that according to Manusmriti, you're all Malechas and Yavanas. So it's a fact also. We are Malechas and Yavanas. We come from families where eating cows was, the same as drinking water. So we understand that was wrong. Like Prahlad, Bhakta Prahlad Maharaj in the Bhagavatam called his father the best of the Asuras, thereby admitting that he was the son of an Asura. And Bali Maharaj also had chased Indra out of heaven. He was the king of the Asuras, his grandson of Prahlad. But when he came in front of Vamanavatar, and he was told by his guru, don't surrender to him, he is Vishnu. He disregarded his guru to surrender to Vishnu. So surrender to Vishnu is the highest principle. You may disregard your guru to surrender to Vishnu. But people may say, well, Bali was an Asura. But surrender to Vishnu made him Asura, not an Asura. Surariha, is that your son's name? Mm-hmm. Sura is the demigods, Ari is the enemy, Ha is killed. Killer of the enemy of the demigods is Vishnu, right? Mm-hmm. Even Mohini cut off the head of Rahu and Ketu. That's also Vishnu. Vishnu has the Sudarshan Chakra and supreme power. We had that in the first verse today, Bhumnaha. The word Bhumnaha means Almighty, Vishnu. So those who are opposed to Vishnu are the Asuras. But even if they're born in an Asura family, but they surrender to Vishnu, they're not Asuras. They're considered great bhaktas, like Prahlad and Bali. Hare Krishna. I should give time for the other two questions. Krishna, Ashray?
Just quickly.
Quickly, sure.
Prime Minister Modi is running again.
Right.
And I understand that he had actually stopped cow killing in certain states and even put up to
the states where their party is ruling, yes.
And put up to 20,000 people out of work because they were...
Right.
This
is the propaganda. And when I was driving here on Monday, day before yesterday, and listening to the
NPR.
BBC. It comes through NPR.
Same thing.
And the BBC had a report from India, and they had interviews with the butchers. And, there's a complaint. Modi and his party put the poor butchers have no jobs because they stopped cow slaughter. So in the eyes of the Asuras, this is a great, what's the word? I'm searching, 1 second.
Atrocity?
Yeah, atrocity, but not...
Tragedy.
When is it that when it's against liberty, what do you call it?
Injustice.
Injustice. That's exactly the word. Thank you, Mataji. This is a great injustice. The poor butchers, they have nothing to do. You see?
Retrain. It's an opportunity to get retrained.
Right. Well,
something different.
See, the thing is that because they're asuras, the persons presenting the news, they view cow's meat as a commodity.
Wow.
Export. Now, for instance, this is another news item that the United States government is imposing $300 billion worth of tariffs on China. So in retaliation, China is imposing $60 billion. And so the exports of beef will be hurt by this tariff. So, you see, they view beef as a commodity and slaughter as an occupation. So we believe that it's demoniac. And Prabhupada's written that in so many places.
And Prabhu, it seems that people that are not conscious of these things, they see, oh, the world's wonderful, we're getting better. But we're
Right.
actually getting better at asoric activity. Really.
Well, they're ignorant of the fact that the slaughterhouse is a very demoniac activity. Killing animals is bad, but individually killing animals for eating is low class, but it's allowed. And not cows, but other animals like goats, chickens, sheep, and pigs. Prabhupada wrote like that.
But not mass slaughterhouse.
It's sinful, it's bad, but it's allowed. But slaughterhouses is not allowed, but it's being allowed by modern governments. Your question, Mike.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Okay, you said that you said 5 and 10, you could remember the 10.
I found that.
Right, you found it.
Yeah, the 10 divisions of statements in the Bhagavatam.
No. 10 characteristics of a Purana is what I
This
read.
might be the same.
It's online.
This is just blanked out. This is in 2.10.1. Sri Shukadev Goswami said, in the Srimad Bhagavatam there are 10 divisions of statements regarding the following: the creation of the universe,
Right, okay, you got it.
planetary systems, protection by the Lord, the creative impetus, the change of manus, the science of God, returning home back to Godhead, liberation, and the summum bonum. Those are the 10 topics here.
What do you have?
It doesn't list them.
Well, the kings, the Vangsha,
It's characteristics. It says characteristics.
of a Purana, right? What does it say?
I can't get it up.
Oh,
I just found the category.
The list not a quote, but a category by other research.
It's actually characteristics.
Because I'm in Pocket Vedas. You're doing
A web
web search. It's better to do a web search to find the 10 characteristics of a Purana. Because there are 18 Mahapuranas and 18 Upa-Puranas. So what you described is what's being described in the Bhagavatam. But the general characteristics of a Purana, because the other Puranas have other descriptions.
We have a PDF of the Manu Samhita.
Oh yeah,
And it's
available.
downloadable.
Yeah.
Free, Google.
See, I've read it cursorily. Is that how you pronounce it?
Like,
I've done a cursory reading. I have not done a deep study nor a memorization, which is the real way to learn. I mean, we should memorize the Gita. I haven't done that. It's many people. It's not difficult. Yesterday the question was asked, how much do you study the Gita? So I said, well, every day we recite 10 verses in the morning after the Mangalarati. 10 shlokas and the Hindi translation we do. So some people read one chapter a day and some read the whole Gita. The actual shlokas, the Sanskrit only. Some people read the whole Gita every day. Depends who you are. How much interest you have.
and I heard in your class last night that trick question, how many slokas
Are in
are
the
in
Vedas.
Vedas?
Right.
What's the difference between
None.
shloka and a mantra?
Yeah,
It's a
there's
mantra.
a difference.
Yeah.
The structure of the statement. A shloka is a type of a poetic verse. And the Chanda Shastras, the different chandas of the Vedas, the different meter. It's a meter, a Sanskrit meter is different. It's not aligned in the same poetic. I'm not giving a proper explanation. I'm giving a very cursory explanation. There must be a description. If you look on the Wikipedia, you'll get a better description than what I'm, because then you'll look up chandas and you look up shloka and it will give the definition.
So it's
It has to have a certain amount of syllables and they have to be matching to be a shloka.
only mantras in the Vedas.
Right.
No
Like the
slokas.
Ishopanishad, it's written there, mantra 1, mantra 2, mantra 3. The Vedas are only mantras. Ishopanishad is part of Veda Samhita. There's 4 parts of the Veda. Samhita, Aranyaka, Samhita, Brahmana, Aranyaka, and Upanishad. So like the Yajurveda has Upanishads, but in the Samhita, this Upanishad is there, Ishopanishad. In the Samhita portion, which is the verse portion. Aranyaka means prayers in the forest. Brahmana means manual of rituals like Kalpa Sutras, how to perform sacrifices. And stories are there also. And in the Upanishads, philosophical inquiry, Vedanta, the end of the Vedas. Upanishads, the name of the Upanishads is Vedanta. Vedanta Sutra is just a synopsis of all of the Upanishads. But it's very difficult to understand because it's in sutra form. Sutra is a brief statement of a much larger idea.
Where does the Dhanur Veda, the
Dhanur Veda,
where does that, what kind of bird is that?
That's a separate category. Dhanu means a bow. So Dhanur Veda, military science, the science of fighting.
And Ayurveda?
Life science, Ayuhu, life.
So
Veda means knowledge.
Didn't that specific term or place that they fell into supplementaries of the Vedas? Or?
Yeah, it's called Vedic supplementary literature by Prabhupada. He uses that word, Vedic supplementary literature. It's vast. There's also Ayurveda for animals, Pashu Ayurveda, to treat the ailments of animals. People used to keep animals, no? Without killing them, horses, cows, and elephants specifically. Now they keep dogs. That wasn't the Vedic system. Dogs were kept outside. Even the other animals were kept. Obviously, you can't live in the same room as an elephant or a horse or a cow. But they were kept in human society and engaged in various different types of activities. Military and non-military. You find in the fighting in the Mahabharata, there's, right here we see in this picture, horses and elephants. So, it was common. Or when the Pandavas went into Agyatvas, 1 year of, what was that?
Incognito.
Hidden incognito. So 1 year incognito, the brothers, the twins, Nakula and Sahadev, looked after the horses and cows of the king Virat. And Bhima was the cook for the king. And Arjuna was a dance teacher. He was cursed to be a eunuch. So he was Brihandala, the dance teacher for the princess, the daughter of Virat, Uttara, who married then Krishna's grandson, right? No, Krishna's son, Abhimanyu. And their son was Parikshit. So, actually he gave his daughter to Arjuna when he found out Arjuna was his teacher after a year in incognito. But Arjuna said, no, she's much too young for me, she can marry my son. So that's how Uttara was married to Abhimanyu.
Also the relationship that they had over that time as a dependent and a teacher.
I mean, guru and a disciple,
It
yeah.
was inappropriate.
It was inappropriate, right? You shouldn't marry your guru. Okay, anything else?
Thank you very much.
See you tomorrow. Oh. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai.
Jai.
Hare Krishna.